Good morning. Myself, I'm Arakshaya. My ID is 21955583301. My AAT Tech Talk subject is Software Project Management. The topic is Evolution of Business Processes Management, a Bibliometric Analysis. Introduction. Organizations are becoming increasingly conscious of the importance of their integral management processes. This is due to the intense competition in a global market where only the best leading companies in different industries can survive in the long term. Acknowledging the importance of business processes has constantly, though slowly, become in fact the most developed economies since the mid 80s, as demonstrated when Porter defined the concept of value chain in 1980. Moreover, the whole contemporary organizational structure emphasizes the role of business processes. Thus, process management is becoming an important part of operational business in organizations as well as in new projects to improve the performance. History of BPM. Divide the history of BPM into three periods or waves. The first wave began at the beginning of the 20th century when proposed a management theory in which we find the origin of modern process management. The second wave peaked with the movement of re-engineering business processes in the mid 1990s, while the third wave began in the early 21st century with the advances and synthesis of previous and technical methods in the area of business processes that were merged into a single discipline that became known as the business process management, also called as BPM. Bibliometric analysis. Let us now look it into what is a bibliometric analysis. The scientific methodology used in this research was a type of bibliometric analysis known as scientific mapping workflow, which attempts to show the structural and dynamic aspects of scientific research. This methodology requires a statistical tool to help with the analysis of the data. This study used the bibliometric package to implement the scientometric methodology. The research is augmented with studies carried out by which used as a systematic literature review SLR for the term BPM. An extensive literature review was carried out on articles published before 2020, with the articles identified in a bibliometric study of the collection of bibliographic metadata in the Web of Science WOS, Scopus Global Scholar, AMC, IEEE Explorer, and EBSCO databases. The first part of this presentation is the literature review, which represents the most relevant features of BPM. The second section is the methodology, which explains the methods and procedures which were used to carry out the investigation. After this, the results are presented, which identify the relevant authors, documentary analysis, and the structure of knowledge for the BPM. Let us now look into the first part, which is also called as literature review. Business process management is considered a management discipline that combines knowledge about information technology and management sciences and applies it to operational organizational processes. Therefore, it has received considerable attention from academics and professionals in recent years. Due to its ability to significantly increase productivity and cost savings. In addition, there are now numerous BPM systems available today, which are generic software that rely on the explicit process designs to carry out and manage operational business processes. The second one is the methodology. Developments in information and documentation science have led to the emergence of many easily accessible databases. However, the amount of information contained in these has been seen to be unmanageable and additional tools must be used to manage all the data. Therefore, a bibliometric analysis was carried out using the methodology proposed by known as the scientific mapping workflow, hereinafter SMW, which is described in detail in and the object of which is to show the structural and dynamic aspects of scientific research. This analysis uses R as statistical software in bibliometric package development by that implements the scientific methodology. First, bibliographic data was collected from various databases. This was done by searching metadata from author, source, and document. Once the metrics were defined, the analysis of the case structures or structures of knowledge at the conceptual, intellectual, and partner level were done. The bibliometric analysis were then performed using the scientific workflow between procedures shown initially in the data collection stage. Filters were applied to the Web of Science, Scopus, IEEE Explore, Science Direct, EBSCO, AMC, and Google Scholar databases for the 19-year period between 2000 and 2020 in order to complement the systematic literature review proposed by, in which a search strategy filters relevant criteria using the Prisma methodology proposed by and implemented by. This methodology details the phases of database identification, selection of records, and item filters with eligibility criteria. The databases and search criteria applied as indicated in Table 1 below identified a total of 706 BPM related articles, of which applying Prisma methodology. The relevant documents for this research were found. 671 duplicate items were deleted from the database results, with a resulting total of 1035 items. Likewise, the search protocol for all databases were the same keywords: business process management and BPM for the period between 2000 and 2020 in the month of March inclusive, in which the keywords must appear in the title of the article, abstract, or in its metadata. In addition, other filtering parameters were included, namely English only and published articles. So here is a diagram showing the science mapping workflow. Here we have a data loading at the first and converting and concatenation files from different sources and filter duplicates articles into R readable format database. Then it gives to the descriptive bibliometric analysis, which then document and attribute the matrix creation, which is then divided into two parts called as network matrix creation and data reduction, which is then done mapping with PCA, MDS, MCA, and with bibliographic coupling, concatenation, collaboration, co-occurrence, and histographical analysis, which then gives the network map, histograph, and factorial map, dendrogram, semantic map. On the results of the different databases were obtained, the records were exported into plain text files in BibTeX format in order to maintain the consistency of the different data sources. These files were then combined into a single file. The resulting data file was then processed using the R statistical software, following the suggestions of using the specialized package for bibliometric analysis called Bibliometric, developed by supplemented by BiblioShiny function developed by the same authors and available on wide network of R files or comprehensive R archive network, hereinafter CRAN. Bibliometrics initially requires that the CRAN bibliometrics packages are installed and R package must be subsequently loaded with the command library, and finally the BiblioShiny plugin must be run. This allows the filtering, normalization, and final analysis of the results. The WOS and Scopus databases allow data to be directly exported in the BibTeX standard bibliographic format but each database includes different fields in a different order. For example, ESCO-host and other databases use generic bibtext, thus the standardization proposed by is performed with the bib tool standardization algorithm. Results. After analyzing the consolidated and consistent databases, the scientific work between mapping procedure was continued with the analysis and standardization phase. Table 2 shows the general descriptive data of the research. It is important to note that in the 20-year period which was analyzed, it was found that 10,035 articles remaining after excluding duplicates came from 377 different sources with an average annual publication of 6.7 articles per year and an average number of 27.6 citations. More than 44,500 articles, 2,500 keywords, and 118 different authors have been referenced. This shows how strong the BPM field of study is and how it interacts with other topics. So this is the annual scientific production of the subject under study and thematic development. So regarding the figure 3, number of scientific publications about BPM increased after 2000, and in the year of 2009, 2012, 2016, 2018, 2019 and 2020, which concurred with the emergence of new technologies such as cloud computing, Internet of Things, or Industry 4.0 or artificial intelligence. Thank you.